What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams. And today, while we're inside the Disney Vault, we're going to take a look at Pocahontas II Journey to a New World, starring Irene Bedard, Billy Zane, Donal Gibson, David Ogden Stiers, John Cassier, Russell Means, Frank Welker, Linda Hunt, Michelle St. John, Jim Cummings, Gene Stapleton, and Brad Garrett. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said during the introduction, hanging around the Disney Vault a little bit longer, today we're going to take a look at Pocahontas II Journey to a New World. And as our movie opens, we are in London, England, as John Smith is ambushed by a group of soldiers with a warrant for his arrest and is presumed to be dead in the ensuing confrontation. Governor Ratcliffe has lied to King James and has framed Smith as a traitor in a plot to declare war against the Powhatan nation and get hold of the gold that he still believes that they possess, all while avoiding punishment for his own crimes. In order to prevent war, the king sends a young diplomat named John Rolfe to bring Chief Powhatan to England for negotiations. Meanwhile, in the New World, Pocahontas, the daughter of Chief Powhatan, mourns John Smith's death, but is eventually able to move on. John Rolfe soon arrives, and he is greeted by English civilians who have now settled in Jamestown, as well as a curious Pocahontas. Rolfe eventually meets with and speaks with Chief Powhatan, but he refuses his request to accompany him to England. So Pocahontas goes in her father's place, believing that she can bring about peace between the two nations. But Powhatan sends a bodyguard named Utamatumakan, or Uti, to accompany Pocahontas on her journey. Rolfe and Pocahontas have a rocky start, but they gradually begin to warm up to each other. Once in England, Rolfe leaves Pocahontas at his mansion and goes to meet with King James and Queen Anne. But James refuses to meet with Pocahontas, despite Rolfe's pleas. Instead, per Ratcliffe's suggestion, James invites both Rolfe and Pocahontas to an upcoming ball and promises that if Pocahontas can impress him by acting civilized, he will prevent the Armada from sailing to Jamestown. But if she does not impress him, he will declare war. Knowing that Ratcliffe has deliberately manipulated the king, Rolfe and his maid, Miss Jenkins, educate Pocahontas in the ways of British etiquette in order to prepare her for the party. At the ball, Pocahontas is able to win over the king and the queen with flattery and almost manages to prevent war. But a bear baiting arranged by Ratcliffe and greatly enjoyed by the snobbish nobility infuriates Pocahontas, and she accuses the king of savage behavior. With Ratcliffe whispering in his ear, James angrily orders Pocahontas and Uti imprisoned in the Tower of London and declares war on the Powhatan tribe. Back at his home, a despondent Rolfe is approached by a hooded stranger who helps him break Pocahontas and Uti out of the tower, and then takes them to an inn where the man reveals himself to be none other than John Smith. Smith implores Pocahontas to stay hidden with him, but instead she takes Rolfe's advice and decides to try and stop the war one last time. She openly confronts the king in the palace and reveals Smith, thus proving that Ratcliffe had been lying the entire time. Realizing now Ratcliffe's treachery, James sends a battalion to stop the Armada and detain Ratcliffe. They are successful in stopping the ships before they can set sail, but Ratcliffe refuses to give up and tries to kill Pocahontas. Smith appears and fights Ratcliffe one-on-one until Ratcliffe draws a gun, but before he can fire, Rolfe hits him overboard with the ship's mast. Ratcliffe makes it back to the port where he is arrested by King James. Smith receives a royal pardon and his own ship from the king as a sign of an apology. Pocahontas and Rolfe, meanwhile, appear on the verge of admitting that they love each other. But before they can, Smith appears and implores Pocahontas to accompany him on his new journeys around the world. But Pocahontas chooses otherwise, and she and Smith part ways as friends. As Pocahontas prepares to return to Jamestown, she finds Rolfe waiting for her on the ship, having chosen to go and live with her in Jamestown, with Uti remaining in London in his place. Pocahontas and John Rolfe kiss as the ship sails into the sunset, and they live happily ever after. As we discussed with the original Pocahontas, the Pocahontas lore is a touchy one because a lot of the stuff that Disney put into their movies is inaccurate. So if we look at these movies from a historical aspect, they're garbage. But let's throw that out the window for right now. The animation was good. The story that they chose to tell was very well done. The songs, while not as iconic as Just Around the River Bend or Colors of the Wind, were decent. There's a lot to be said here by the fact that the majority of the cast came back. The only person who didn't come back was Mel Gibson as John Smith, but he had his older brother do the voice for him, and honestly, couldn't really tell that it wasn't Mel. There was a slight difference, but not enough of a noticeable one. So you've got all those things going for it. I thought this was a very well done film. I don't know why I'd never seen it prior, but I enjoyed it. I very much look forward to finding it and adding it to my ever growing movie collection. Maybe you'll see the DVD or the Blu ray of this pop up on the War Zone at some point. Who knows? When it comes to my rating for this film, like I said, I enjoyed this. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, the animation, the story that they told, the songs, all of it, very well done, very well handled. What do you guys think about Pocahontas 2 Journey to the New World? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's engage in that conversation, man. Only got a little bit time left to talk about these Disney movies. So let's get into it. Make sure you guys tune in on Friday, right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews when I wrap up this week inside the Disney Vault by taking a look at Tarzan, starring Tony Goldwyn, Minnie Driver, Glenn Close, Lance Henriksen, Brian Blessed, Nigel Hawthorne, Rosie O'Donnell, and Wayne Knight. You're not going to want to miss out on that right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, right here on an all-new episode of Renegades Reviews when I take a look at Tarzan. To all my loyal fans and friends out there, thank you for joining me, tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so that you're notified and alerted of all my new content when it goes live. Share this video with your family, friends, movie fans, Disney fans, Pocahontas fans, Anybody out there that you can think of that would enjoy this, share the video, help boost up my visibility in the YouTube algorithms so I can eventually get monetized. Thank you again for joining me and going along this journey with me, and I will see you guys next time.